Welcome to the Excellence at Work podcast, where we explore the strategies and best practices that drive business success. I'm Rachel Cooke, COO of Brandon Hall Group and the host of our podcast, along with members of our executive team. In each episode, we'll dive into the latest trends, insights, and real-world examples from some of the most exciting leaders from organizations worldwide. Be part of our journey and learn from the best as we discuss innovative approaches and cutting-edge technologies for talent management, learning and development, leadership, diversity and inclusion, and more.
Hello and welcome to Excellence at Work After Hours. I have Rachel Bolton on with us today again. Wonderful catching up with you before this began, Rachel, but why don't we talk a little bit about what you've been up to?
Yeah, it's good to see you. I feel like it's been too long, and it's been a whirlwind. I'm not kidding, Mike. I mean, between conferences I attended, other webinars that I did, and Stanley Black & Decker is getting every penny's worth as well. Well, it's felt a little crazy over the last couple of weeks.
End of Q3 for us, right?
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy. I'll share about work since that's top of mind right now. We've got these two great workshops underway, but now we've got reporting that we've got to get and some metrics we've got to collect. And I've scaled these workshops enterprise-wide, so we've got some region hiccups as well as functional area hiccups as well. Certain groups are doing certain things a different way, and I'm in the middle of it all. So I feel a little bit of tug of war at Stanley Black & Decker, but in a good way. Like, these workshops are great, but also there's the challenges of collecting all the metrics and data and the reporting right now. Not going to lie, that's what's keeping me up, Mike. It's keeping me up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what types of data are you collecting when you do these workshops? Is it just feedback?
Yeah, great question. So we do obviously collect feedback. How did the workshop go? Would you suggest this to a colleague, right? Some net promoter score there. But really what our stakeholders and enterprise vertical leaders want to know are enrollments and completions. Who has enrolled for these workshops? And we're doing this through Workday. But then also who's actually attended it and completed it the entire 2 hours. Each workshop is about 2 hours. And so they're being delivered in different time zones. For example, we had one that went off this morning at 2 a.m. and I got to hear those Teams pings on my phone at about 2 in the morning. But then you have some that are going off at 10 p.m. at night after I've put my kids to bed. And so it's tracking attendance, who's attended and sat through these virtual sessions, but also it's open enrollment, and that's done through Workday, and they want to know how many leaders have enrolled. So that's quite an undertaking for a 70,000 plus employee enterprise, don't you think?
Yeah, I always forget how big and humongous your company is, actually.
Yeah.
But thanks for the reminder. And you're going to be with us in November too, right? Women in Leadership.
Yes, I need to get out of Georgia. Take me back to Florida, my home state. And I'm sure that it's nice and warm in November still. But yes, the Women in Leadership Conference is coming up. Excited to partner with Rachel, the lovely Rachel, the other lovely Rachel, for this. And even my organization is looking forward to it. I shared it with my leader, and he's like, please go. Tell us what you learn. How can we support? So I love that. I've again got that company, absolutely, that company partnership and support to go. I can't wait. Right before Thanksgiving, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a holiday around there somewhere, I think.
Right. Christmas, Thanksgiving, really has been a little bit of a whirlwind. I'm also reading a lot. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety out there, not a lot of entry-level jobs right now. Like we kind of getting rid of jobs, or America's not getting rid of jobs, but we see like only 2,000 new jobs were created, I think, in the month of August.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of that has to do with AI, and certainly, there is always uncertainty, but I think AI creates more uncertainty than usual. So we're seeing entry-level jobs being impacted, I believe. I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of shows and chief people officers, and I sense anxiety is probably the wrong word, but I think people are anxious. I think leaders are a little bit anxious right now with how to go about navigating all this. I think it's really going to be interesting how we do it. We actually have a session at our AI summit in October talking about the elephant in the room, which is, what can you do to make sure AI is not going to take your jobs? Because
Mm,
I think that's interesting to talk to. But, in terms of, you had something that we wanted to talk about, which was promotions. And promotion should not always be the goal necessarily, or the.
yes, yes.
So I'd like to build off of that during our time together.
Absolutely. I love what you're sharing about the less jobs created in August statistic. Like that bleeds into my coaching work. I've shared with you that I have clients that are possibly job seekers or they're trying to move from one organization and they want to go to the next level. And this market is brutal. And then you add AI to it, that makes it even harder. So there's less jobs out there to get, but then the ones that are out there, you're competing with people who are very, very skilled at leveraging AI to position themselves in their resumes and cover letters in a strong way. So I would love to talk about this promotions sometimes is not always progress for people, right? There are ambitious people out there. I'm one of them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll take it. But there are times and seasons in your career where a promotion is the last thing that you need or want. Like, you're just trying to anchor. And I feel like when I first started with SBD, I had just been promoted, right, through another organization, if you will. But I did not want more responsibility. I did not want to climb the ladder. I just wanted to get my feet underneath me, understand what
Yes.
my scope of responsibilities was, but also the enterprise as a whole, which takes some time. And so if you would say, hey, Rachel, do you want to be a VP tomorrow? I'd probably say, yeah, no, I'm still learning how to be the director in this seat right now. And I think we in performance management seasons, Mike, like we have mid-year right now. A lot of companies are doing mid-year conversations, and then we're going to have year-end conversations coming up right
Yes.
around the summit in November and December. But sometimes the leaders get into those conversations and they just immediately assume like, okay, where do you want to go next? What's your next goal? What are you hoping to get to? Where do you want to go? And there's a demonization of people who say, I don't want to, I'd like to stay right where I'm at and grow in my current role. And I think we should reverse that, you know?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with horizontal movement either, and going into different pockets or departments at at an organization. You used to work at Home Depot, correct?
Yeah.
That's like another really fascinating organization, and at all these big companies, including the one you're at now. There's different moves that you can certainly make, and different audiences or employees that you can work with, right? Like people that are involved in manufacturing, people that are involved in distribution, partners. So I think it's important to give people like a very wide spectrum of stretch assignments or certain job roles. We do it with ourselves. We have younger folks, like we have the wonderful Shay Sabato and Ivy Etchison. And, one of the things that we've been trying to do is give them different experiences in our organization. Now, I think at some point we have to also think about specialization too, because you can get somebody too much in. My company's, I have great specialists and I also have a lot of generalists, but I notice as we're growing and building, I think getting back to specialization, is going to be something that we have to look at as well as leaders out there in the industry.
Absolutely. Specialization. I love when you say this. What does that look like inside of Brandon Hall Group for you all right now?
Well, you have sales, right? I grew up in sales, so that was definitely a specialist type role.
Oh, yeah.
And we have other people sometimes doing a little bit of sales just to give them more knowledge of how to work with clients, but they're also doing a bunch of other things. So I think specialization, if you're really going to be good at something, you need to have it. I miss being in sales full time. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have like 18 things going on at once right now. It's fun certainly, but I do miss the days of just being in sales and doing what you're supposed to do as a salesperson. Same with marketing people, same with analysts. So that's kind of what it looks like. That's just my thinking of specialization and how leaders need to think through it.
Oh man, I miss sales. Now that you've opened the nostalgia in me, right? Like I started in sales at Home Depot. I was actually on the phones, like call center sales, calling on other businesses, hardware stores, and just that book of business and just the grind and the hustle. I do miss that. And somebody told me last month, they're like, Rachel, you're still in sales. You're still in sales. You're just using it in a different way. But you're right. It's a tool. It's a special gift. It's a talent. And you don't get to use it at the higher up you go. You get more removed from it. So you're right. It's about making sure that there's that next generation under you that are still in sales or still pushing. And And when you said analyst, it gave me a trigger. I need an analyst so bad. I need an analyst. Like earlier, you asked me, what's the tricky part of these workshops scaling globally? And it's getting all the reporting and the metrics and the data back so that we can give it to our vertical leaders and tell the story of, hey, these are what our workshops are doing. But right now, Mike, it's just Rachel. It's just Rachel doing all the attendance and all the invites and all the tracking. And so to your point, would I love to have an analyst, my gosh, to add to my head count, but not happening. So we're just going to have to be resilient, right?
Be resilient. You're very good. No, that's great. That's great. So let's see. We're going to be talking about launching our podcast, but doing it live and with attendees.
Yes.
We can build off of their questions. And what are we calling that?
I think we're calling it Ask Me Anything.
Ask Me Anything. I like it. Okay. Well, I'll definitely need your help during that call because I don't know everything.
Neither do I. But you know what, Mike? Our listeners, they want to pick our brain. I know they've got questions for the Institute. You have such a breadth of knowledge and insight that I'm sure they want to pick your brain on. And then I've done a little bit in leadership development, just a little bit in leadership development. Maybe I can bring something to the table. But yes, I don't know if they're ready for a live webinar of me and you answering questions, but let's invite them, right? The idea is that you can ask me and Mike anything, and we'll attempt to answer it authoritatively, right? We don't have all the answers, and that's okay. But we do like to encourage robust conversation and maybe break some paradigms that are out there in terms of human resources, leadership development, AI, all the things, right, Mike?
Yeah. Like one of the questions you had was, what makes a great leader in 2025? And I was thinking about it just a couple of hours ago. And, has it changed that much? Is it a different skill set to be a leader now than it was 15 years ago or 20 years ago?
Yeah. Great question.
It'd be one of the questions we cover.
Yeah. What is it different in 2025 than 1995? Take me back to 1995. I'm pretty sure if I were in leadership development at IBM in 1995, some of the very same things that leaders needed then, they probably need now, right? And I use IBM because it's a tech company. Imagine if they were having to smart with AI, as I'm sure they are right now, leading that cutting edge, being the competitive force in that area. But I'm sure some of the core foundational skills haven't changed. So yeah, I love the question of 2025, but I also, to your point, let's flip it. Like, does the year matter, or is it really just the skills and the capabilities and the competencies?
I think, to your point, I think leaders have to have a better set of soft skills than what you had 25 or 30 years ago. I'm not saying you have to be more sensitive to people's needs. Maybe I am saying that, but you do have to have more soft skills because there's so much more information that just is coming at you so fast now than what it was in the mid 90s. That's how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah, I love what I heard earlier today. I was talking with a colleague, and she said she's never calling them soft skills again. Now that AI is here, right? Like AI can't do the quote soft skills that we commonly attach to that phrase, that keyword, right? So now they're power skills. And I like that reframe, right? So empathy is a quote soft skill, or the ability to effectively communicate, or how to handle conflict effectively, right? Those are soft, but now they're powerful because AI can do agentic AI. Now I'm learning about, Mike, can be an agent in your organization. You can have a literal AI employee that can do a lot of the tactical stuff that I was complaining about earlier in our segment today, reporting and metric and data entry. And then because they can do that, now our human skills, our power skills are even more important. What do you think?
I agree with that. We're undergoing some projects internally here with AI and using workflow automation, trying to build in basically digital workers to take up some tasks and also make sure everything's looped into our technology stack, which is plentiful here. So, I absolutely agree with you. That's why I think the soft skills is where it's probably going to play out a little bit more in the little power skills, as you call them, in the future. I think that will play out. So let's see. What else did you want to talk about?
Well, we've got some unpopular opinions that I think we've gotta at least do one.
Yeah,
One,
we do.
and the people love this, right? And one of the things that I thought would be fun to talk about is back to how promotions aren't always progress. All right, unpopular opinion. Sometimes the wrong person is promoted. Do you think that that is true? And why does that happen in organizations? I know I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, that's true. That's completely true. Why does it happen? Sometimes because they could be really poor succession planning.
Mhm.
I think that's, certainly when you get it up to the higher levels. It's also sometimes people get promoted for time on the job, even though there may not be the most qualified person to take on that job. They may be in place for 25 years and you have somebody new coming in that's, maybe been an employee for the last 2 years, does a great job, but they just don't have all the, relationships, or sometimes you just want to promote the person that's frankly sometimes older too.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate to say it. Ageism does exist, and I'm sure that's a unpopular
It
opinion.
is. I mean, we're allowed to say it. Hey, this is our podcast. We're allowed to say it, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm just calling a spade a spade. Sometimes the wrong person is promoted. And when you're in leadership development, we get to see, high potentials within an organization. Then we get to see sort of that talent review and succession planning. And a healthy organization is using the right criteria to promote those people. But I've been in some unhealthy organizations early in my career, none that I've mentioned today, but that I've seen where, oh my goodness, let's not promote that individual. Why are we doing that? And because what I've seen, Mike, is it's because of relationships. Maybe they're close to some of the leader or the level of leaders above them, or they've got a personal connection to them outside of work. And because of that, they're given that precedent. I don't know. I'm just going to say it. Sometimes the wrong person gets the promotion.
Yeah, oftentimes they do, and it's just a really poor strategy that companies have, unfortunately. But I agree.
Yep. All right. We said it and we're not taking it back. And
No,
if you want to challenge us on this, we are always open to hearing the thoughts and opinions of any of our listeners or viewers. Plus, we're going to have this webinar where we get to be live with you. And when are we doing these? In October and November, right, Mike?
yeah, I think we have. What do we have? We have 4 coming up.
3. Yeah, 3 of them
3
are
or 4.
scheduled. Yep.
Oh, we're not doing one on Thanksgiving, are we? Oh,
No, we actually get a holiday. You're not going to put us to work on Thanksgiving. Thanks. I'm sure Shay is happy, Ivy's happy, Rachel's happy, right? But right around Thanksgiving, which I had to Google, it's on the 27th this year, but on the
yes.
25th, about 2 days before, many people I'm sure are already going to be out at grandmother's house. I'll be at grandmother's house working remote and happy to get on that call and hear what some people would like to learn from us or ask us or just tell us. Who knows? But I can't wait. It'll be nice to hear from others and to enjoy some interaction, right? We get a little tired talking to each other all the time, maybe.
So besides turkey, what do you have on Thanksgiving usually that's special?
That's funny. Well, I'm going to make the turkey this year, which I never did in the past. So I've been watching YouTube videos. I'm doing my homework. I'm collecting recipes. I'm going to do a test turkey next month before the real turkey.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to mess this up in front of my husband's mother. No way. So I got to do it right so that she is impressed. But other than that, speaking of her, we go to Virginia every year. I've got very young little ones. I've got my 5-year-old or soon to be 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So they want to see the grandbabies. So we always go up for a week and rent a house, and I get to cook and and host the dinner this year. What about you all?
We go back and forth. Sometimes we go out and eat, and sometimes we cook turkey. And I'm
What? You go out on Thanksgiving? Who's open on Thanksgiving?
not often. My wife probably wouldn't be happy with me talking about that. But I am looking forward to. I feel like a green bean casserole dish.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good. That is a classic.
And we have that. I miss that. I like having that. So that's
Oh, yeah.
probably
Well, we'll have to fast ahead of Thanksgiving. Like we're going to have to go on just a liquid fast because I like the macaroni and cheese and dressing. My aunt made it as a kid when I was growing up and she made the best. And so I look forward to the carbs. I'm a carb. That is the time to indulge. And then there's always like dessert.
yeah. Fasting is good. You actually fasted for a day this week or
I
last week.
did. I did. I was influenced by a mentor. They shall remain nameless. But it's been an indulgent. I had my birthday, and I know Rachel and you also celebrate in the month of August. And
We all
so
do.
August was a little indulgent, and it was time to greet September with a little bit of a cleanse. So I did a liquid 24-hour, and that included coffee. So I was happy about that, but it was liquid only. And I did look this morning, and I'm down 2.5. So that's not bad, just from the fast and just in a week. And so
Makes you feel good.
intermittent is good, they say. Yeah.
I think it's good. Everybody should try fasting at least a couple of times a year, I think.
There you go.
So I know you have a call coming up in a few minutes. Do you want to do the signature sign off this time?
Yes, let's do it. Well, thank you, Mike. Always good to talk with you. And thank you to everybody who has joined us today. Quick reminder, please make sure that you are on the lookout for our webinars that are upcoming October and November around Thanksgiving. So you'll have some way to burn off that turkey and all those carbs. And also, don't forget the Women in Leadership Summit, rather, is coming up. And you've got the AI Summit as well, right?
Yes, we do.
Wonderful.
So we're looking forward to that. All right. Well, this is Excellence at Work After Hours. See you soon.
See you next time, everyone.